You're watching Play Unplugged TV.
Enrico Nardini here at PlayOnPlug.com, and I'm joined by Brian Schotten of MERCS.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. So, to give you a little background, I was at Gen Con last year, and I'm walking around, and I see this beautiful booth with this evocative concept art. It's bold, and it's just like, hey, come take a look at me, and boom, it's the MERCS booth.
Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about the MERCS world.
Sure. MERCS is a near-future sci-fi skirmish game. It's 5-on-5. Nations have merged with corporations and formed what we call mega conglomerates, or what we call megacons for short, and they're all over the world, and they control various parts of the world, and they're going for wealth and power.
Sounds awesome. Now, we talked a little bit about science fiction games, and there's sometimes a disconnect. Like right now, there's this amazing military technology, and people can hit, people can get somebody from miles and miles away, and that doesn't seem to be reflected very well in a lot of science fiction games right now. It seems like sometimes it's better to run across the battlefield, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. How do you guys deal with that in MERCS?
Yeah, I mean, MERCS is a heavy tactics game, and so you don't want to be in the open. You don't want to be not in cover. And to punish people slightly for doing silly things on a battlefield, we've extended the range. So you can fire the complete range of the map, but the shorter you go, the better the modifier is. And so tactics like taking elevations and taking flank and taking the rear attack is very, very important. You want to lock them down, suppress them, and attack them from an angle that's not straight on.
Now, with the idea of suppression, like what kind of mechanic do you use to have those figures be locked down?
Well, a character a person would declare a miniature on suppression, and it's as simple as that. And then anyone he has line of sight to has to make courage checks, and there's a courage stat on every card. So
that's cool. So there's some genuine military tactics going on here.
Yeah, it comes from my military experience. I mean, what I learned in advanced infantry training is what this comes. Battle buddies, cover me while I move. I got you covered. All that kind of stuff. And if there's any military people watching, you'll know what I mean by that. Battle buddies are very strong in this game.
Now, MERCS has another really interesting component to it. It's got these really beautiful cards with these beveled cutouts of them. Now, I was looking at the cards, and I'm like, that's weird. Why are there those cutouts there? Could you tell us a little bit about that? Because that's a very interesting mechanic.
Sure. The cards are, I think, the most unique thing about the game as far as what it presents different from anything else out there. You have half circles in various positions on a card, and you will butt the 30-millimeter base into the circle, and you will move to one of the other circles, and that constitutes one movement point. And so you will move around the table by using the card as the ruler, if you will.
And some of the cards actually also make up the templates for explosions and things like that.
That's right. We designed the game to be light to get into, low model count, light to carry around, low luggage, and inexpensive compared to many other miniature games out there. And so the cards function as templates, as rulers, as crib sheets for the characters. Everything you need. You need 5 miniatures, 5 cards, and D10s. You can play the game.
That sounds awesome. And not only that, but I can see how there's a lot of appeal to that, because especially for con gaming, I mean, like if you're going to bring stuff to a con, it's nice to be able to bring a game that's fun, tactical, but also figure light.
Yeah, I mean, one of the concepts from the beginning was we don't want this to be a giant luggage kind of game where you have to have terrain and rulers and templates and 70 miniatures and 60 pieces of dice and 3 pairs of luggage. I mean, just something nice and easy and light, and play it in about an hour and 15 minutes.
So tell us a little bit about, there's some beautiful concept art. So if we hold up this copy of MERCS, first of all, what a beautiful hardcover book, glossy, full color inside, dynamite. A book we'd be very happy to have on your bookshelf.
Absolutely.
So beyond that, the concept art is so unique. How did this all come about?
Me and my primary beta tester, we pick the faction we want to do next. We get it set up. We launch it to my beta people, who are actually all over the world at this point. And then when it gets to a certain point, Keith and I sit down and we talk about what we want each faction to look like. We actually pose up a lot of these positions with yeah.
That guy looks awesome.
Yeah, we pose up a lot of these pictures with Nerf guns and standing in pictures, and then we draw it based off the picture. It's a very fun time when we do it. Let's see if I can.
Oh, that's awesome! Here, please hold that up for the viewers at home. Guys, I don't know if you can see this fully. Hopefully the camera's doing it justice. But not only does it have like some of the models, and it looks like there's some 3D modeling involved, but the poses for the models are being done by you guys, by the creators. That's excellent. That's really great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's some really nice figure modeling.
Thanks. Yeah, we have a good time with it. It's always good.
It's actually really fun that you included that. I think that's a nice, like, you know, a lot of times I think people when they look at a game and it's like, well, how did this happen? And it seems very like, you know, it seems very opaque, and
Yeah.
like that makes it very transparent. That shows just the amount of work and creativity that's involved.
Yeah, I mean, you got to love games, you got to love what you're doing, and you do whatever it takes to get to that point. And the best models come from dynamic poses, and the best way to get those poses is to see them in action. And so we'll throw something, and we'll take pictures of it, and then Keith will transfer the photo into a drawing, and he does it better than anyone I've ever met.
It seems like you guys do a lot. It seems like there's a lot of research that's gone into this.
Oh yeah. One of the weapons that the USCR has, the USCR Snipers, has an anchor gun, and we try to put everything in a real world setting, even if people don't realize it. The anchor gun is called a Jarman, and if you look up Jarman online, you'll find out that Jarman was a harpoon gun used in World War II. And so we do a lot of kind of little research like that, and people may not realize it, but it grounds it in some kind of reality, and it's more believable, and it's cool.
I think that's great for a hard science fiction, especially, and it makes it more. It just pulls you in more.
I agree.
So, what's coming out new for MERCS? What should we be getting excited about? Checking www.mercsminis.com. What are we going to be looking for?
Oh, very, very exciting times, actually. We have 4 factions out now. We have a 5th faction, Cephadu, coming out next week. Before Gen Con, a week before Gen Con, we have Kaiserwaza, which is the Japanese faction. Cephadu is an African faction. They're very fast, very mobile. They're hit and move. Kaiserwaza has a hard-to-pull-off nuclear attack. It's very, very cool. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of cool things. Gale Force 9 is doing counters and maps for us now, and they're going to be available for purchase at Gen Con. And Battle Foam is doing a bag, and while I don't think it's going to be available for purchase at Gen Con, we will have samples of the bag to show people. And things are moving very, very fast for us right now.
It seems like you guys are picking up some serious steam.
Yeah, I think so. Well, every distributor in the United States carries our product, and 2 in Canada and 1 in the UK. And we're actually starting UK production of miniatures very soon. So things are going very fast.
Brian, it sounds like there's a lot of reasons to get excited and get in there and start playing some MERCS.
Yeah, it's fun. It's tactical. It's the player brings more to the game than the army, and that's what we like. I love saying that, and every game bears it out. The tactics are from you. The victory you'll feel like you brought the victory and not the army you played.
Well, Brian, it was a great interview. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
And people need to check out www.mercsminis.com.
Yeah.